book, grade 3 and 4 from my paws are here. Cycles. The first chapter is cycles. A pattern that repeats itself continuously is called a cycle. A cycle helps us to predict changes. A cycle occurs in both living and non-living things. The life cycles of living things repeat when living things have young or reproduce. There are also cycles in nature that enable life on Earth to continue. Day and night cycle. The change from day to night takes 24 hours. The Earth is constantly spinning. It makes one full spin every 24 hours, which is equal to one day. As it spins, we have day and night. Lunar cycle. The appearance of the moon changes as it moves around the Earth. This pattern of change is called the lunar cycle. The lunar cycles occur every 28 days. These are the day and night, and this one is the moon. Seasonal cycle. The change in seasons from spring to summer, then autumn to winter takes 1 year. Such repeated patterns of change allow farmers to know when is the best time to plant or harvest their crops. The Earth moves around the sun in 1 year. The tilt of the Earth's axis causes the seasons. Do you know why there are seasons? These are the picture of the season cycle. The next chapter is life cycles of some animals. What is a life cycle? All living things go through a cycle called a life cycle. A cycle is a pattern that repeats itself continuously. Living things reproduce and have young. The young go through a similar life cycle as their parents. In this way, living things of the same kind continue to be found on Earth. These are some animals. This is the butterfly and the caterpillar. This is the chicken and the chicks. These are the frog and tadpoles. What are the stages of a life cycle? Let us look at the life cycles of a human and some animals. Life cycle of a human. What are the stages in the life cycle of a human? It starts from an egg. An egg develops into a baby inside the mother until it was ready to born. Next, it turns into a young. A baby is born alive. The baby looks like the adult. At the next stages, it becomes an adult. A fully developed adult is able to reproduce. This is the picture of the adult, baby, and the egg. It's kind of weird. Next is the life cycle of a chicken. It is almost the same as the human, but is an animal. It starts with an egg. Eggs are laid on land. Each egg was a hard shell that protects the young animal growing inside. it becomes a young. A chick looks like the adult. The adult, and then it becomes an adult. An adult chicken is able to reproduce. This is the picture of the egg, the chick, the young chick, and the adult chicken. Oh, the adult is the third one. Next is the life cycle of a frog. It starts with an egg. Eggs are laid in water. Each egg has a gel-like covering, and then it becomes a young. A tadpole lives in water. It does not look like the adult. It has a tail and breathes through its gills, and then it becomes an adult. An adult frog lives on land and in water. It does not have a tail and gills anymore. It breathes with its lung and skin instead. What are the similarities and differences between the life cycles of a chicken and a frog? I'm gonna tell the answer when we finish telling the picture. The first one is the egg, and the second it becomes a tadpole, a young tadpole, and then the third one it becomes a frog. Now answering the questions. The similarities and differences between the life cycle of a chicken and a frog is the similarities is that it starts from an egg and then and it's like the egg is the same, like it's the egg, like it's three life cycles the same, but the differences is that the frog, the young tadpole, doesn't look like the adult, but the chick looks like the chicken. Next is the life cycle of a cockroach. Some insects have 3 stages in their life cycle, while the others have 4. Now we're gonna start with the insects. It starts with an egg. Eggs are laid in an egg case. It starts with an egg like the others, but the second stage is different. It is a nymph. A nymph looks like the adult, except that it is smaller and does not have wings. It molts several times as it grows, and then it becomes an adult. An adult cockroach has wings and it can fly. This is the picture. This is the nymph and this is the adult. It looks the same, but the adult have wings and the small young doesn't have wings. Ew. This is the egg. And my mother hates cockroach. Next is the life cycle of a grasshopper. Look at the life cycle of a grasshopper shown below. It starts with an egg. Eggs are laid in the soil, and then it becomes a nymph, like the cockroach. A nymph looks like the adult, except it is smaller and does not have wings. It molts several times as it grows, and then it becomes an adult. An adult grasshopper has wings and it can fly. Both the cockroach and the grasshopper have 3 stages in their life cycles. The stages are egg, nymph, and adult. The nymph of these insects looks like the adult. And now the question. What are the similarities and differences between the life cycles of a cockroach and a grasshopper? The similarities is that they both have the young both look like the adult, but they look a bit smaller, like the same, but and it doesn't have wings. This one doesn't have wings and it is smaller, and this one too. It is almost the same, and the difference is that the cockroach egg are laid in an egg case, but the eggs in the grasshopper egg laid in the soil. This one have an egg case. Some insects have life cycles which are very different from that of a cockroach or a grasshopper. Look at the difference. Look at the life cycle of a butterfly, a mosquito, and a beetle. How many stages are there in their life cycle? What can you observe about the young of these insects? Let's start with a life cycle of a butterfly. These insects, like butterfly, mosquito, and a beetle, have 4 stages. Let's start with the butterfly. It starts with an egg. Eggs are laid on plants. Each egg is protected by a hard shell. And then it becomes the larva. The larva of a butterfly is called a caterpillar. It lives on plants. It eats a lot and molts several times as it grows. And next it becomes a pupa. A caterpillar changes into a pupa. It attaches itself to a leaf or a twig. It stops feeding and continues developing in the pupa case. And then it becomes an adult. An adult butterflies come out of the pupa case when it breaks open. It spreads its wing and waits for them to dry before flying off. This is the larva. And this is the pupa. It is like a shell covering. Now, the life cycle of a mosquito. It starts with an egg. Eggs are laid in still water. And then it becomes larva, like the butterfly. The larva of a mosquito is called a wiggler. It lives in water and it eats a lot and molts several times as it grows. And then it turns into a pupa. A wiggler changes into a pupa. It lives near the water surface and it stops feeding and continues developing in a pupa case. And then it turns into an adult. An adult mosquito comes out of the pupa case when it breaks open. It spreads its wings and waits for its wings to dry before flying off. And next is the life cycle of a beetle. Oh wait, this is the picture of the mosquito. It is the same, but like the animals is different. I mean the stages is the same. Life cycle of a beetle. It starts with an egg. Eggs are laid on leaves, and then it turns into a larva. The larva of a ladybird beetle lives on plants, and it eats a lot and molts several times as it grows, and then it turns into a pupa. A ladybird beetle's larva changes into a pupa. It attaches itself to leaves and stems of plants. It stops eating and continues developing in the pupa case. And then it turns into an adult. An adult ladybird beetle comes out of the pupa case when it breaks open. It spreads its wing and waits for its wings to dry off before flying off. Do you know any similarities of a beetle, a mosquito, and a butterfly? It is the same because it spreads its wing at the same. It's the same life cycle. Like everything is the same except it's the animal. A butterfly. The butterfly, mosquito, and beetle have 4 stages in their life cycle. The stages are egg, larva, pupa, and adult. The larva and pupa of these insects look different from the adult. Bye. Thank you for watching.